Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, Global Recycled Standard and Recycled Claim Standard in Action. Today's presentation will be recorded and sent out to all registered participants and also will be posted on the Hub. We will have a Q&A portion at the end of the presentation. You can type your questions into the question box on the webinar doc. We will also utilize chat briefly for part of our presentation today, so please stay tuned for those instructions. Any unanswered questions will be answered afterward via email. Now on to Trini Gantner with Textile Exchange. Trini?
Thank you, Rose, and hi everyone. Welcome to this webinar. I know we have a lot of registrants today. If you don't mind to find your way over to the chat box and let us know which company you're with and where you are calling in from, the country you're calling in from. All right. We have California. Hello, California. Welcome, welcome. Hong Kong, Boulder, Colorado, Sweden, Stockholm. Hello to Europe. Germany, Wyoming, fantastic. Wonderful. Excellent. Well, welcome everybody. Let us get started. So we have a full agenda today. We are going to begin with introductions, then learning a little bit more about the GRS and the RCS. We are going over the claims and labeling requirements and some other certification questions that come up most frequently on our recycled standards. Then we also have Beth Greenaway from Zalando here with us today, and we'll have a quick chat. We will go over standards updates and then leave a little bit of time at the end for Q&A. This is our list of presenters. My name is Trini. I'm the second one here, but with me today I have Ashley Gill, Director of Standards, Kelly Weldon, Standards Coordinator, who will also be answering your questions over the chat and the Q&A, and also Beth Greenaway from Zalando. A little bit more about our standards team here at Textile Exchange. We're a group of 9, and we call ourselves the Integrity Team, which is split up of standards and integrity. And as you can see, we are also dispersed all over the world. So we basically work around the clock, if you will. Now let's take a closer look at our standards. So Textile Exchange owns 7 standards. And with the content claim standard being the backbone of our complete standard system. And we will be talking today about the 2 ones in the middle here, the GRS and the RCS. And in order to understand a little bit more about the standard, let's look at the overarching challenge one usually has, which is managing supply chain complexity. So we all wish that we could look at a t-shirt at a retailer and trace it back to a single source, but the reality is more that supply chains are really, really complex, and as material travels through the supply chain to the final product. And our solution to that is the chain of custody. So all of Textile Exchange's standards use a chain of custody system that use scope certificates and transaction certificates as the product moves through the supply chain. In terms of roles, as it comes to certification, there are different organizations involved. And if you look at the white dot in the middle, the GRS and the RCS are the standard scheme. And then Textile Exchange is the scheme owner. So the scheme owner writes and maintains the standards, sets the rules. And then we also work with authorized certification bodies, which is the second blue dot to the right here. And our CBs audit for conformity against our standards. And then at the top, we also have the accreditation body, which provides oversight over the CB and over us. And the backbone of the entire system is really is basically all the entities that are certified to a given standard. Now let's look a little bit more closer at the details. So the goal for the RCS and the GRS is essentially the same, and it is to increase the use of recycled materials in products. But then there are some differences between RCS and GRS, and in terms of scope, the GRS or the goals, the GRS also goes a little bit beyond by also reducing the harm caused by the production of the products. So for the scope, the certification begins at the recycling stage with a verification of the reclaimed material, and then goes all the way to the final product, to the garment maker. And for both standards, the RCS and the GRS, we ensure that the raw material meets the definition of ISO 14021. And that there is a chain of custody from the source to the final product. So one difference, I had alluded to it, is that the RCS does not include processing criteria. And I'll talk a little bit more about the percentages in the next slide as well. So now let's first look at the GRS. The scope is similar, begins at the recycling stage with the verification of the reclaimed material, and then goes